Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be watching episodes 16 and 17 of Dungeon Meshi, Delicious in Dungeon, Dun Meshi, if you're nasty here of course, which we're always feeling nasty. It's Dungeon Meshi time, let's go. But yeah, most of all I'm just excited to be back and watching more Dungeon Meshi. I've said it a number of times, it's the show that I just want to binge the most, so we're going to be doing another couple here today. I think I said 16 and 17. We're doing 16 and 17 because apparently 18 and 19 go together. That's my read at the moment anyway. Either way, over to the YouTube comments here, and I was a little bit worried that nobody was going to get in, but we had Heath, not 18 minutes ago, getting in their comment here. It's about some various stuff from last week, a little bit more manga stuff as well, which I do enjoy. Just kind of picking up the differences between the source material and the adaptation. I like it, it's cool. So let's get a start here. It's not actually super obvious, but the scene with Tatsu resurrecting Kablaru and his party actually happened before Tatsu met Laos's party. If you remember, Tatsu mentioned back then that a group he resurrected earlier had their resurrection fee in hand. That was Kablaru, which means episode 14 happened roughly in parallel with episode 9. Now this is all news to me. I definitely remember this, but I didn't think that it would come back and be important. So that's pretty cool. I like that actually. And if I'm putting the timeline together, they find Kablaru's party wiped out by the mermen, steal their stuff, make some food out of it, and then I think it's the next episode is the Tansu Namari stuff, maybe? Or maybe it's even later than that. I'd need to go back and check. But I think that kind of roughly matches up, I think. Like, there would be enough time for kind of us to see Kablaru's party, like our main party see Kablaru's party, steal their stuff, kind of, go off, do something else, and then there'd be time for Tansu to come through and revive them. So that means that everybody's kind of in the same area at the same time, just like missing each other by just a little bit. Because that means that Shuro is around as well, which is interesting, of course, considering his proximity to our main party as well. I'm sure all this will coalesce at some point and everybody will meet up, and yeah, as I said last week, we said we were going to the town, but the town may be coming to us, which is cool as well. This is actually a flaw of the manga in my opinion that the anime kept. It is often not super obvious when a B-plot is happening when it is shown side by side with the main story. There's always some context clues you can pick up on, but like here, it can have been some time ago. It can have been quite some time ago. Again, if I can read. Yeah, I don't know how you fix this. Maybe just simply text on screen saying a few days ago, something like that. I don't know. I don't know how you make that fit together a little bit more. The show does have a narrator. Could we maybe use the narrator there to make it a little bit more clear? Again, I don't think it's a super huge problem, but I think if I didn't know that this happened back in episode 9, I may accuse some characters of teleporting a little bit, which I guess it is important. Travel times seem to be important in the show up to now. We're considering them in the plot, so it may break certain things if people are just teleporting around, a la Game of Thrones style. So I see the trouble there, not that it affected me specifically in this case. And yeah, I have you guys here to remind me of stuff as well, which is neat, of course. And yeah, that's the YouTube comment for this week. I'll just get up those patrons as well, and I'll do the Patreon shout out. As always, if you wanted to be that 1 week ahead, I think next week should be 18 and 19. That's the plan as it stands right now. So if you're watching this public and you want to see those episodes a week early, the Patreon is there for you. For that exact purpose, basically. Some people have done this, up to and including Annie Gregg, Mickey Babbers, Trails++, Adley, Bobbin, Chobo Ribby, Domobot, Ed, Fleur Nightingale, Fruit, Funny Fat Guy, Gloriana Tenebrae, Gus N, Heath, Ika, Yarko Yarvinen, Joran, Kate Linner, 10,000, oh my god, Clem, Nosta, Lou, Mad Lad, Max, Mish, Nick, Parnick, Pencil Sharp 333, Ramen Boy, Ron Lad B&K, Saint Lily, Sam1373, Skeleton, Surrogate Corpse, Without a Net, Zach, Binchy, Hans Peter, Kelvin, Marsh, Aidan O'Brien, Jacob R, and Ram Tiki. So thank you to all those people for giving me money on Patreon and getting those stuffs a week early, if I can speak. Yeah, thank you for that. That's, yeah, it helps a lot, of course. So where were we in Dungeon Meshi? So I've kind of split it into two portions because last week we kind of panned between two different parties. Let's go with our main party first. We're still on level 5. We're still kind of in a bit of a maze type situation. We're getting messed with by the Mad Magician, I guess. And at the moment, they're delaying us from getting back to town to, again, resupply, reload, and go back and save Farlan again. So, again, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what Farlan looks like as well, which is interesting. But, yeah, I've theorized again that the town is coming to them, that we won't need to go to the town now because we can resupply, like, because people will be here with us, if you know what I mean. Maybe they'll even bring some seasonings along for Senshi. You never know, of course. Then, of course, we have the other party, and apparently this was happening in the past, but Kaburu and his whole gang of merry men met up with Shuro and his gang of merry women, and they're going to kind of, what's the word? Join together, and they're going to go and find Farlan as well, so everyone's kind of coalescing on the same point again. We should meet up with each other, and hilarity will ensue, I'm sure. Getting that original party all back together, Shiro in his own way being around, Namari's around, they're all just looking for different stuff. Tansu's being weird, but we knew that already. So yeah, I guess to that point, Namari isn't around. No, because they already met up with us and then went back to the surface. But she can come back down at any point because they had that kind of, it's not teleport magic, but because it brought them back home, can it bring them back further into the dungeon again, or do they need to travel back down? I'm unsure. But either way, Namari mightn't be around like the others are. But I digress. I've been yapping on long enough, and I want to see the direction we take with the next episode. Is it going to be more dungeon meshy goodness, where we just kind of, do a dungeon food, or is there going to be more concrete plot forward stuff? Or is it going to be character stuff? We did a little bit of Senshi last week and implied some things about his past, which I thought was pretty cool as well. So yeah, I'm going to jump into those episodes now. Of course, you can join the Discord, and talk to me about anything really, but Dungeon Meshi specifically for this series, as well as get some recommendations in, of course, if you feel that kind of way about that kind of thing. Like the video, subscribe, Twitter. Let's jump into the episode now. Episode, whatever it was, 16 I believe we're up to. Rightio, I have episode 16 of Dungeon Meshi up there ready to go, of course. 26 minutes and 33 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your copy. Should be very similar to the Netflix stuff, of course. If not, there's a picture-in-picture version in the description below, and yeah, using all the Netflix subs and that kind of thing, of course. So yeah, we're just going to give this a 3, 2, 1 and jump right in. Rightio, 3, 2, 1, go. Indeed, Netflix. I am recording, which is always good. Oh yeah, the opening. Oh yeah, I liked this thing. Hell yeah, I get to watch it again. After I looked it up last week, yeah, definitely very similar vibes to that Wotakoi opening. Which is a favorite, of course. They do the hand stuffs. I don't know how to do them, but, I'm not talented like that. But yeah, watch that opening if you haven't. It's quite good. I actually haven't seen the show, by the by. Never seemed like my thing, though. Could be wrong, though. I've been wrong before. Surprisingly enough. And yeah, because I know some people skip ahead, vote in the poll. Do it. Join the Discord. Yeah, definitely dance party vibes to this thing. It's jovial in a way where the tone of kind of episode 13 was not particularly jovial. So it's interesting this is coming off the back of that. It's like we're reloading with the good vibes again, I'm a bit tired this morning, so I'm just trying to wake up as well. I've just had a coffee. But hopefully I don't say any stupid shit. Chances are high, though. Okay, cool. They really haven't. We made good food. I'll give you that. Hmm. Yeah, it is. You're right. It's the window that Farlan jumped out of. Oh, he's kind of proud. I liked that. What? What are they looking at? What are we looking at? Little hole in the wall? Oh, somebody came through and cleaned it up. Crack in the wall? Uh, there's some kind of creep? What the fuck is that? Huh? What is this Attack on Titan shit? There's a man in the wall? Okay, there's not a man in the wall. It may have been some kind of hallucination. Hmm. Not the little dragon. What? What? What is happening? Why was that wall made of glue? It's made of fucking porridge. What's going on? What's a dungeon cleaner? Oh, okay. Very smart of you. Sure, she looked a little bit weird there in the character design department. Oh yeah, look at him. Oh, this is cool. Okay. Now this is really fun. So obviously we're taking our. Oh, Senshi, stop being a stick in the mud. Like all whatchamacallit, theming around ecosystems and stuff. It's going right down to the very small level now. Wait, they excrete it? Oh god. Oh, it's almost like the dungeon's a living thing. Um, we'll keep an eye on that. I wouldn't be surprised if some big twist is like the dungeon's actually alive or something. Or at least it's metaphorically alive. Like, that's already been shown. It's alive in the same way that the Earth is alive, right? Alright, we also did it. We found a way out. What is that? Um. Ah. Uh. Hmm. Oh. Oh, yeah, I guess we are going back up the way we came. Oh, never mind. Okay, so you guys weren't on the same page. Got ya. I think it's cute. I kind of want one, if I'm honest. Maybe not a realistic one, maybe just a costume. Okay. What are we making? Okay. I've never seen it looked like rice or something. I've never seen it served like that. If I'd stayed, yeah. That's pretty funny. Oh, and that's where the dungeon cleaners come in. What would it taste like? Remember, it's excretion, right? What an interesting set of flavors. Why is it lemon? It'd be a good way to get your magic back. Oh, well, you guys are here. That's interesting. Okay, so it's part of their, okay, it's part of their stuff. Where's Shuro? What? What, they thought we were monsters? Oh, he's cool. There he is. Hey, Dad. How's he bouncing around like that? Yeah, Shuro is definitely like important, right? He's got this entourage around him, right? Okay, so yeah, they call him something else, young master and whatever. Oh, yeah, you guys are here too, huh? So then you're gonna put it together that yeah, those are the guys, right? What's up? Hey. Hmm. How's this gonna go? Well, that was clearly like the chapter break, right? I'm getting a read on them. That's all it's about. Ooh, that's very smart. I do like a character that's able to like reconsider their biases and just like wait and watch. I think that's cool. It's not like that. Well, to use the resources at your disposal. Gotcha. Well, it was, but we had help. Okay, so where is she? Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he's like, oh, she's dead. I just thought he was like that. Okay. Why is he whispering? That's funny. Yeah, eat this brick. It'll be awesome. Oh, we don't trust that person, apparently. I have a name. There's a lot of dudes here. Or Jaw-san. Okay. What are you gonna do, Chilchuk? Yeah, she's bad news. I don't know about her. Quite eager to murder. It's definitely a different vibe having so many characters here, yeah? It obviously is not going to last forever. Something's going to happen here. The short version. I hope you guys didn't hear that. My stomach just rumbled, which is very on brand. Yeah, according to legend. Good point. We use some evil ass shit. I would imagine that's the Mad Magician. They seem big and important, right? Great question. Hey, you're very, you know, you're very right out with the information here. I don't think Shuro's is game about it. They're probably just like, this guy's insane. I really like Carpenter here. He's very smart. Well, last time they saw her, yeah. No, we didn't eat him. They're our good friends. That's an interesting line, too. Am I stupid? What are they talking about? Anyway. Maybe it was about the taboo type stuff. Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. That's tangible. What? He looks like a Renaissance guy. Of course, an Eastern meal. Yeah, I thought it was the taboo stuff. And that's kind of what Kabaru was talking about before. I don't think they're going to kill Laios. Must be closing in on close to. Yeah, thought so. Um, uh, hmm, mm, mm-hmm, huh. What? What do you mean? What is that? What do you mean that's what that is? Okay. Now, I know it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad. Jesus. Okay. That's pretty fucked up. Also, she's still around. I thought that they would have went, like, 2 levels down or something. She's just chilling. I guess there's still something here. That's why the dragon was here as well. They're still looking for something, right? That's on level 5. Anyway, it's an interesting episode. As I said a couple of times, I really liked Kablaru. I thought he was going to be really reckless upon seeing this party, based on his preconceived notion that he got off of episode 14. But we must remember what he thought about Laios, right? That he would kind of do anything, or he was susceptible to the forces around him. The Torden siblings were, right, and he could be easily swayed by bad things. So maybe this is reinforcing that for Kablaru, which is interesting. Not a lot of dungeon food. There was a little bit. We kind of ate some brick for a little bit. But yeah, but this was kind of an episode of like what the fuck moments, I guess. Oh, look at that image now. That makes a little bit more sense, right? Big old chicken butt, right? It's probably what we're getting at, right? Funny. Oh, and then the feather too. So yeah, that wasn't what I expected. But yeah, we'll do like we have been doing for Dungeon Meshi and just run straight into the next episode now, whichever one it was. 17? That sounds right. We're going to do that now, and then we'll come back tomorrow and have a little bit of a chat. Rightio, I have episode 17 up there ready to go, of course. 26 minutes and 59 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your copy. Should be very similar to all the Netflix stuff, of course. And yeah, there will be a picture-in-picture in the description below. So yeah, just going to give this a 3, 2, 1. Rightio, 3, 2, 1, go. I will say, I think the Netflix sub overall has been quite good. Everything's been quite understandable, I think. And sometimes Netflix just shits the bed when it comes to subbing stuff, so it's nice that they didn't do that here. Again, we saw that monstrosity in the end of episode 16, and then, right back into your happy-go-lucky opening. A little bit tonally dissonant, of course, but it wouldn't be the first time. Yeah, what the fuck? End of episode 16. That was kind of crazy. And I think it'll be easy if they end up seeing Fallen, right? It'll be easier for people to blame the black magic as a concept overall on Fallen's condition now. And that it's a taboo that we committed first, and then, the Mad Magician came through and did what they did. Lunatic Magician, of course. Depending on which you prefer. I'm interested in these elves as well. There was the implication, of course, that if the elves found out that we did this, that they would do something to us. So obviously they don't really like that very much. But then why does Mars still even know that stuff? Do they only not like people using it in so much as they use it themselves and don't want anybody else to know it? Don't know. We'll find out. I don't think Laios is going to die. I'm going to be real. Poor Senshi's just kind of shell-shocked. Hmm. There is no hesitation. I'll give him that. Me neither, really. I don't think anybody does. Yeah. Okay. Monster Gang. Not everything. Oh no. What, of staying behind? You shouldn't have fought those guys. They're important. Okay. Sure is kind of chill like that. And yeah, he wouldn't have blown up like that if it wasn't serious. Harpies? Oh shit. Uh, they're freaky looking. Get him, Tade. Beat their ass. Not everything. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you should go talk to him. Thanks. Yeah, look at the fucking spider dude. That's cool. What's up? Wait, that's us. Chilchuck's smart. No, I like it. It's a cool character design thing. Ah. Oh. Oh, that's. Oh. Oh, now? 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 Oh, she's cool. I didn't know it was now. Oh, shit. And yeah, this certainly doesn't help their case. Oh no, he's me. This certainly doesn't help your case with the whole taboo being bad thing. I'm Laos right now. What the fuck are we supposed to do? We're just killing dudes. We don't give a fuck. No, not Dogman. What the fuck? Don't kill Dogman. He's cool. I agree. An impossible task. Okay. Of course, people dying isn't final. We should mention that. But it's still kind of crazy that we're just like killing people. She's got picked up by the scalp? Oh, that looks like the thingo, right? Yeah, I thought it may have been. Undine. Or Undine. All the themes are coming together, everybody. Alright, she just like vacuumed it up anyway. She's probably going to use it on us now, or... Never mind. Not Dogman. No way. Oh, she's cool. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna... Stop bringing up the things I'm going to bring up. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and the sword's shaking now, too. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that. Yeah. That's a way to kill a human, but is it a way to kill a monster? Yes. I would imagine the Mad Magician's going to show up right now. Um... Hmm. Okay. Bro, everyone's just dying. It's fucking crazy. A certain subset of people would be really into that. She's nuking? Oh, that's sick looking. Okay. Why did it choose to run right then and there? Okay. How many resurrections can you do? Okay. Cumber's back. Heal the healers first. And I mean, it's different kind of resurrection magic. Well, it didn't help, but I don't think it's the reason as to why. Oh shit! You're under arrest. I hope this turns into like it's gonna turn into a courtroom drama now for Marcel to prove her innocence. Oh. Hmm. Everyone's fucking getting mad as shit. What? Love a good slap. I'm not sure his retainers will like that very much. Alright, we retaliated. Love the animation there. Okay. What is he doing? Yeah, but bro, this is you didn't fix anything. I was gonna say that as well. Yes, I'm listening. Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Cock blocking. Gotcha. The worst crime anybody can do. Yeah, but I'm not most people. Not the hair pull. It's cat fight. Oh, it's getting nasty now. I'm with you. It's getting a certain level of pathetic as well. I can do that. Yeah, those are just tits. Okay, sure. I didn't know it was that kind of show. Oh, that was cute. I liked that. Oh, and these two are just fucking squabbling the entire time. It's just like, we don't have time for this. Okay, Dogman's back. That's good too. Now you can eat. Have some food. Break bread, so to say. It was made with love, of course. What do you mean, leave her be? She's trapped? Help? Oh, he never apologizes. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, back in the day? Okay, so he like proposed without any of the other stuff? Uh, hmm. I'm not sure Kabaru has a very high opinion of you. Well, I'm thinking she's got dragon type shit, so, you know, somewhere. He's got that spunk. He's got that riz. Yeah, you had qualms about this in the past. Bit of egg, bit of omelette as you do. Harpy egg omelette. Okay. Eat it. Again, harpies are humanoid enough that I'm kind of like, I don't know. What the fuck is all this? Okay, I mean, all's well that ends well, I guess. Okay. Wait, everyone's going? Okay, that's a setup. Interesting. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Okay. Remember the name. What was that? Don't forget me next time. Yeah, this implies we've met before. Well, my read was that Kablaru knew about Laios, but they hadn't met before. For everything? It's okay. I agree. Is that it? Yeah. You could have definitely called that a two-parter, guys. I'm gonna be real. I would have been upset if I didn't watch these two together because it closes off so much stuff. But that was, I can only describe it as an explosion. It was like a fucking atom bomb of chaos and content. It was crazy. I don't even know where to start. But I'm happy I know where we ended off with this entire meeting with Kablaru. This entire like meeting of these parties and Shuro and everything else that went on there. Means I can make some good reads based on the rewatch tomorrow, I guess. Kablaru is very interesting. Obviously, a lot of this is predicated on a meeting that we didn't know existed until now as well, which is interesting too. Very sneaky as well. He was somehow listening in on the black magic conversation, right? Oh wait, no, he wasn't listening in. The retainer for Shuro was, but then just kind of spat it out. So it was meant to be a little secret spread to everybody immediately. And they're apparently going to tell the Lord of the Island and maybe even report Marsil to the elves. So as many parties are going to be after our party for their transgressions here. And fucking Farland's insane. I didn't know that she was going to be like fucked. But I digress, I guess. So yeah, that was a wild 2 episodes. I will return, of course, tomorrow to talk about these in some more detail. But yeah, it was entertaining, if nothing else. Of course, it's never not entertaining. Yeah, that was insane. Those 2 insane episodes. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for some discussion, I guess. So in retrospect, those two seem like pretty important episodes, no? Like the meeting of everybody, the first real spark of that conflict with these characters that will be increasingly important as we continue. Of course, reuniting with Farlan, but it not really being the way we thought it would have been, let's put it that way, and really bringing to focus again one of the major themes of the show, that being what separates monsters from humans, right? And exploring that through a couple of different ways that I'll go into, of course. How do the characters respond to that? What are the differences between Laios and Kablaru when it comes to that, and even Shura to some extent? Yeah, I think that whole exploration was fascinating. And hopefully, as we continue, we get a little bit more dynamicism with the locations. I'm kind of sick of the castle, but all in all, it was fantastic. Again, like, I was thinking to myself yesterday at work, I was like, when I started this show, did I think I was getting into something like this? I didn't think I was getting into something like this. Something that's like kind of terrifying sometimes. That's kind of cool. Uh, Set up like dramatic relationships in a really cool way that like spark off each other and go in different directions and really have really cool like flashpoint type scenes that you only get in the best shows, really. The ones where you're so invested and so into every single second that you can't even really think of much else. um, I didn't think I was getting into that kind of show, but I am in Dungeon Meshi, and it's constantly surprising me, which is good. It's very, very good. So yeah, if I was to guess, I would imagine most of this conversation here in this segment over the 2 episodes will be around character, because I think it's the thing that's most explored through, the couple episodes, this little mini arc, I guess. And I guess these 2 episodes did go together. Somebody did tell me that once upon a time, and I did keep it in the old noggin. So I'm happy that I watched both of these together, even unknowingly. But yeah, character's the main focus here for sure. There's a few story overall plot things that we can keep an eye on, but it's mostly how different people are from other people, and that's what we're trying to get across. So yeah, I mean, we're not going to get anywhere unless I jump in, so let's jump in, shall we? We start here with a quick joke that kind of sets the scene. Chilchuck has found some things out in the 3 days he was kind of looking for that herb. He also found some stuff out about how the, I guess, spell on the castle worked. So the way I understand it is that the lunatic magician, they're not like literally fucking with our party here. It's more of like an automated thing that the castle does to people that, aren't supposed to be there. It's almost like a hex or a curse or something rather than something that's being, controlled by somebody. So once you figure out the pattern, you figure out the curse there, you figure out what to look for, you can kind of figure your way around the area. And that's what Chilchuck's figured out. And of course, in the process, he berates the other three for their, I guess, lack of work during this time. Senshi was definitely doing very important work, making food, the most important work there is. So we kind of brushed over it a little bit, but basically, like, stuff will always stay the same, if that makes any sense. So houses will never become graveyards, and statues will always be facing the same direction, and something only moves in clockwise directions. It's almost like a puzzle, and once you figure out the puzzle, then you can navigate yourself. It's kind of cool how Chilchuck put it all together there. Really fits his character as that kind of person that deals with the traps and the puzzles and that kind of rogue build, I guess. And then we're back at a familiar location here. This is where Farland fucking jumped out of the window, and that was the last time, or one of the last times we even saw her. However, if they're close to that initial location, they're also close to where the dragon's corpse was. If they see that trail of blood leading away from the dragon's corpse, these two, chuckleheads over here, that may be personally involved in Farland's safety, I guess, for lack of a better term, the emotional connection guys to Farland may want to follow her and see the trail and run off ahead and do something stupid, right? Chilchuck is aware of this and wants to make sure that they're, I guess, away from where the corpse was, so they don't get this idea. However, this is actually a really subtle piece of characterization for Chilchuck, right? So let's have a little bit of a look here. So they like immediately find where the corpse was and have a look. Chilchuck and the audience as a kind of duo don't get to see what they're looking at. We know it's clean, but it's neither here nor there. It's more like, hey guys, I know you guys are really emotionally invested here, but we should really continue, going back to the surface. It's more of that episode 13 stuff. It's like, hey, instead of lying and tricking them and telling them something weird about what happened, he's just coming out and being a little bit more honest. He's saying, hey, let's go back to the surface. Like, I know you guys are invested here, but let's follow the plan. He's putting his opinions out there instead of using underhanded tactics, which he probably has done in the past. So yeah, nice stuff from Chilchuck, of course. However, that's not the case, as I said before. There is no corpse, there is no blood, there is no trail. It has all been cleaned up, of course. Now, this is when I got some like weirdo Attack on Titan vibes. Again, if you haven't seen Attack on Titan, what are you doing? But also like, there's guys in the walls. So when there was a guy in the wall, I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? Yeah, here it is. Here's Mr. Guy in the wall. Look at that. That's fucking creepy looking. I'd imagine that's a cool manga panel as well, if I had to guess. What's the dialogue here? The magician's eye will be upon you. Okay. Is this almost like... Because you're, like, involved. I'm getting some vibes off the Torden family lineage that is important. You know what I mean? So is that what this is predicated on? Or are you getting kind of involved with magic? Or something Farland's feelings coming through? Something? Because she's now part of the dungeon, so to say? Because it works as a pretty good warning here, even though cryptic, because a dragon will soon be, like one of the small little dragons, that will soon be close by and have their eyes on these guys, so they don't need to hide. So it's a pretty good clue that they'll need to hide, right? Yeah, even Marcel doesn't really know what's going on. I don't think it's mana sickness. I think it's something that is being teased to the audience right now that will become clear later. There is a reason why you're having particular hallucinations and that kind of thing. Think about Farland just before she turned as well, right? She was having these hallucinations, seeing people that she shouldn't see, and that kind of thing. I thought that was inherently Farland's connection to the dead, but it could just be something with their family lineage, now that I'm thinking about it. And you never really experienced it because you weren't in tune with magic until now, or at least in a more concrete way. I don't know. It's a very, very interesting one, and definitely something to watch for as we continue. Just these kind of weird things that you see that nobody else sees. Oh, another really fun connection. I'm seeing a lot of stuff now. Chilchuck was the first one to hear the flap of the dragon's wings, speaking to his keen sense of hearing, which was explored last episode. Yeah, last episode. And then this was a big, like, what the fuck moment as well. Like, why is he, like, sinking into the wall? We explain it later, of course, as the dungeon cleaners, but it definitely was a section in the episode of what the fuck moments. And I think that's very purposeful. It was, again, kept me engaged in a really cool way. So yeah, effectively everyone was able to hide in the walls that weren't quite set yet, and, hide from the dragon that was flying past. And yeah, now we get into the explanation, I guess, and I guess I'll wait till it goes through and then I'll explain what I like about it. Just one, this Marcel is like kind of off model, no? Her eyes look like super weird here. She's very proud of herself for coming up with this plan, I guess. That's a little bit strange. There we go, that's a good shot of it. Okay, let's talk about Dungeon Meshi as a whole again, right? It's so much about building an ecosystem and every person has their place and every creature is doing something to make the world go around and that kind of thing. It's harmonious in nature, right? And we've explored that in myriad ways in the food chain, but now we're going to the very, very bottom, right? What is the organism that powers all of this to continue to occur? And you could probably even go even more microscopic than this, but let's have these like really small bug type guys that just go around repairing things, making sure that the dungeon is in the image that the god of the dungeon left it in, right? It's the same way as, any other bug in real life, right? What are flies doing? They're cleaning up, essentially, right? What are ants doing? Cleaning up. There'd be fucking carcasses everywhere if it wasn't for ants, And these creatures have been around for ages and ages and ages, and they've been doing this, and this is part of the reason why the world is the way it is because of these small little bugs going around doing shit. So I think it's cool that Dungeon Meshi has its own dungeon version of this kind of creature. I think it's really, really cool. And as it does in real life, it also legitimizes certain aspects of the dungeon. Dungeon Meshi is really good at this. It takes video gamey, dungeon-esque kind of tropey things and legitimizes them with a real reason for existing, right? It's part of the charm of the show. It's part of the initial pitch. And you could say that, okay, if there's adventurers coming down here every so often, like all the time, and, dropping things and doing different things, and, humans, they're messy, they excrete things. How does that all get cleaned up? We justified that on floor 3 through some hygiene stuff, I guess, through some toilets, which is cool. But as we go lower and lower, how don't we see signs of life everywhere? Why is this place in particular so squeaky clean? And again, this is the reason why. They thought about everything. I love that kind of stuff. We're definitely pushing this for Senshi as well, just getting kind of pissed off like he's got dad vibes, you know? Like compared to Laios, who's wide-eyed, a little bit innocent, sees the beauty of life as it is. Oh, it's so beautiful that dungeon cleaners are going around. Isn't it brilliant? No, it's not brilliant. They're destroying my stuff. And just like in a childish way, very frustrated about it. Like instead of like I'm gonna kill them or anything, right? He's not like that, but he's just like, yeah, they get in my shit sometimes and it's annoying. Like I get it, but it's annoying. And I think that's really cool. It's a nice difference between these two. It definitely talks to Senshi's age in particular. We also say here that they spread their secretion. That's what helps like fix holes and that kind of thing, right? Make it from that to that to that, you know? Secretion, it could just be like a slime. That's cool. Or like when he's eating the brick, he could literally be eating like bug shit, you know? No wonder it doesn't taste very good, is my point. And this is a thank you, Muscle. This is another fantastic point that I meant to bring up as well. So, yes, Dungeon Meshi, we're talking about an ecosystem, right? We're talking about a biome somewhere out in the world in real life, right? But we're also talking about the dungeon as a living creature, right? And all the different aspects of it interacting with each other, if that makes any sense, you know? I wouldn't be surprised to see this explored in more and more detail. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the reveals in the 11th hour of this show is that the dungeon is actually literally an organism that is alive. And we've been exploring all through it, you know, unknowingly almost. There's that thing about it, about the national park. Do you know what I'm talking about? Am I going crazy? Anyway, and it would make sense that these little things are like, white blood cells or something like that, working against infection, preserving things, making things the way they were again. You know, cells at work style almost. Which is another really cool vibe. I like that. In that way, of course, you could go full like environmental extremism and say that okay, well, if the dungeon's an organism, right, and these things are repairing the damage, then what does that make us? We're the virus, we're the bacteria, you know. Yeah, but again, that's a pretty extreme take, and if you apply that to real life, it leads to some bad stuff, I think. Not you took it too far, essentially. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting that we're exploring these things. Put it that way. Either way, then through a quick musical montage, we find some stairs, which indicates that hey, we can finally make our way to the surface again. We can fulfill our goal. We're finally out of level 5. And then everyone's not on the same page here. Okay, well, if we're here, we should start preparing that. And then it's like, oh, that? And it's like, no, we don't need the frog suits. There's no tentacles here. It's fine. Instead, we're just talking about preparing some food with Mr. Pumpkin here, of course. Now, savor this because it's some of the only actual dungeon cooking we'll see for the foreseeable future. At least in this recording session, of course. We're kind of bringing together some cockatrice meat, it looked like grain or something from floor 3, which doesn't track to me. I don't remember when we would have gotten that. I don't know. Floor 3 was the one where we were just kind of in the tower and we we're going around and round, and there was ghosts and stuff. No, I can't think of any grain there. Anyway, I'm sure it was something. We also take a little bit of the extra mandrake stuff that we I guess we grabbed some before. I think we had a small joke about that last episode. Put it in with some depetrification herb. You put it in with it's essentially rice. Let's call it rice. Some rice, some goo. Let's put some goo in a brick and then like cook it up, right? And of course, to end it all off, we have a cockatrice egg. Now, there's an interesting thing about the egg as well, because remember, cockatrice, it's kind of that mix between the chicken and the snake, so to speak. The egg's like a reptile egg. It's soft. So, like, yeah, it's an interesting mix there, of course. You would have expected it to just be like a chicken egg, but no, it's taking a little bit more of that snake stuff. And then, yeah, you get a little bit of egg sauce on top. What do we call it? Stone-baked cockatrice chicken and egg with sauce. Sure. Again, I'm always hesitant of eating chicken with egg. It's always a little bit weird for me personally, but I digress. I also don't know what kind of grain this is, but I can't imagine that frying, like cooking rice, like searing it on the bottom, is very yummy. But again, what do I know? I'm white. No, good food. I don't know. I don't know about all that. Of course, the kicker being that the dish itself is also part of the meal. If you dig your spoon in, it's some cleaner stuff that hasn't quite set yet. And yeah, I'm with these two. Like, okay, on one level, you're eating a brick, not very tasty. On another level, you're eating bug shit. Like, what? There's, I, I'm not against dungeon food as a concept. It's just like have some standards, I guess. And yeah, quickly he finds out that it doesn't taste very good at all. Yeah, we're bringing up the hallucinations here again. I also would think that you're eating dungeon cleaner stuff, it's probably pretty good for regenning mana and that kind of thing. So, he's getting a little bit of magic back, which is cool. May lead to some hallucinations, of course. If only what we see in the next episode is a collective group hallucination, that would make things a lot better. But yeah, we're being watched. This is where everything starts to come together and coalesce. So yeah, it's interesting that we're talking about hallucinations, and at that point we see this giant spider Oni thing. So yeah, it's a really cool creation, and I love the art style change. We'll see it in a little bit more of a wide shot a little bit later as well. But I'm imagining this is one of the abilities of one of Shuro's gang. They can turn into this thing, which simultaneously is terrifying but also pretty powerful. It's like an illusion thing. It's cool. Look at it. And yeah, no, it is no hallucination. We actually are under attack. So I think the vibes here is that they saw Marcel in a frog suit and they saw Senchi's helmet and they're like, oh, it's a group of monsters. Let's kill them. And then they grabbed him. It's like, oh, it's humans. Okay, fine. I thought they were just like murderers. And then Shuro comes along. We see Shuro. Yay, it's Shuro. Long time no see. Now, this interaction here is very funny. Knowing what we know now. Like, Shuro hates Laios, like, a lot. One, because he's cock blocking, which is, neither here nor there. But two, because he's just kind of annoying. But, okay, let's talk about it. We're definitely, this is something people brought up early. Now we're definitely coding Laios as, like, on the spectrum somewhat, I think. Right? Autistic, whatever you want to say, right? He has a hyperfixation. He doesn't pick up social cues. He's definitely what's the word? Neurodivergent. Again, it's not my area of expertise particularly. But yeah, I think that's a really fun addition to the character, and I think it really fits him. And it's also, again, if you want to call it really great representation, let's call it what it is. It's really great representation. So yeah, I mean, double thumbs up for that. I think that's cool. We'll continue to explore this as we go through the episodes, of course. I think that was Chilchuck as well. He said, "Oh, did you lose weight, Shuro?" He did, right? This is another one of the major themes of this segment is dungeon food as a concept and what it means to take care of yourself, and should you take care of yourself, prioritize that over searching for somebody else that you really love. How much of it is self-sacrifice and how much of it is self-care? How much of that mixed together should a person have, if that makes any sense, right? When is you self-sacrificing so much that it's even detrimental to you even accomplishing your goal? I would imagine if Farlan has feelings for Shuro, right, on even some level, right, if she sees him like this, like, imagine Farlan's fine and she just sees him like this after he found Farlan, excuse me, she would be worried. And is that even worth it? Should she feel like that? I don't know. It's an interesting conversation for sure. So another really funny quirk here is that Shuro's name is Toshiro, right? And everybody calls him Young Master Toshiro, right? I'm imagining that Laios heard this and was like, oh no, that's too formal. Let's give him a nickname, Shuro, right? And then yeah, everybody else at the party just picked it up. He just kind of got a nickname because you just chose to give him a nickname. And again, you're just not very happy to be with him, I guess. I mustn't ignore the other person in the room, of course, the other whole party in the room, which is Kaburu's party. They've been traveling together with Shuro, and now they've found the people that they were after, right? The people that allegedly took them out. Again, we explore that here in a second. Now, another really interesting scene in retrospect. We imply at the very end of episode 17 that this isn't actually the first time that Laios and Kaburu have met. And I'm wondering what happened in the past that predicates what he thinks about the Torden siblings and Laios in particular now, Because he seemed to have a preconceived notion based around the characters, and we saw in the kind of that flashback in episode 14, kind of Kaburu just kind of looking around at him a lot and what he does, just kind of observing him. So what's the context there? I think, again, something that will be explored in the future, of course, something that we're teasing. And this is where I also gain a lot of respect for Kabaru, right? I think a very stupid and rash character would jump straight in and say, "You're under arrest for stealing our stuff and stealing our food and all that kind of thing," and like really challenging him on it. Instead, we have Kabaru coming up in a very neutral way earlier, walking up to him and saying, "Oh yeah, it's nice to meet you." And then he's like, yeah, nice to meet you too." He didn't look guilty even when he saw us, right? So, what can we intuit here? One, he's got a really good poker face, or two, he doesn't think he did anything wrong. So we could be wrong, or he could be stupid. It's one of the two. And I just like how Kabaru is taking the time here instead of like rushing in and trying to learn some stuff. And him vocalizing it off Rin, right? So the audience gets in on it as well. Yeah, he comes up with some ideas here. The treasure was a trap. We could be mistaken. There could be something else going on. Like he's thinking about it. He's not just going. It's, the bare minimum, but it's really good. Well, that was something I missed as well. So Shuro's kind of been on this level for a little bit with his party. They've been looking around and keep getting lost. So when they come up and they find Kabaru and his party before, it's kind of that they've got turned around and made their way back to the 4th level. He's kind of been around the 5th level for a little bit and kept getting lost in the labyrinth. Shuru's got a really interesting vibe at the moment. He's very noble and kind of, what's the word, stoic almost, when just discussing random stuff, his retainers, his party, that kind of thing. Just keeping up that air of, he seems like Prince vibes, young master vibes, you know what I mean? Keeping up that air, but then whenever Farlan is mentioned, he eyes bulge open. He's like super excited. It's a really fun swap there and shows what he's really interested in, Shuro is straight out with it as well. I realized that Farlan was missing and then put together this party to search for her. There's a look shared between Laios and Marcel, a knowing look that they know what they did and know what happened with Farlan, and that one day they'll need to explain that to Shuro. Yeah, here's what I'm talking about, right? So the 4 of us, we defeated the Red Dragon. This surprises Kabaru for a start. He's like, well, how did they do that? And then Shuro's immediately like, well, what happened to her, right? She's not with you then. And then he like kind of realizes this, and then he falls to his knees in the Walmart. I just like how he swaps. Again, it's nothing special. It's just really well executed. Laios finally figures out that Shuro is like really malnourished and gaunt and looks like really tired and stuff. So he's like, you should like eat something. Which, again, like, that's not going to be super convincing. But I do like this line. Eating isn't something you do when you have the time. You got to structure your meals and make sure you're keeping your energy high enough. It's just good advice in real life as well. And yeah, this idea that Shuro is kind of malnourished and needs some food leads to, I guess, the major conceit of the rest of the episode, which splits our party off into different groups. So we have Maizuru here. She seems like mommy vibes for for Shuro, and yeah, is really excited at getting asked to cook something, right? And then we explore that a little bit with Senshi a little bit later on. You put love into the meal, that's why he loves every meal and that kind of thing, which is all very sweet, of course. Yeah, either way, it's more just characterization for her that she's really excited that Shuro asked something of her. Which, again, read into that however you will. It's small, but there's nice little pieces of characterization for Shuro's party here. So we trust all the others with various activities in the cooking process, but Asebi, no, I don't want anything strange mixed into the food, so you go off and protect the young master. And then, yeah, it's all very peaceful times for now, before information gets revealed. Everyone's just kind of working together and having fun and preparing all the stuff to eat today. So the way I understand it, there's going to be 3 groups. One is just like all these mages who are going to put up a barrier so that the young master isn't disturbed while he eats. I don't know where this goes, so maybe I'll keep an eye on it as we continue here. The other group, of course, will be the kind of Shuro, Kabaru, Laios group, along with Asebi. They'll be off to the side discussing various things, of course, leaving the rest all together just cooking, which is cool. I wonder if this is a thing. And we'll see this. Maybe I could see this in the wide later on, at the very end, like when we're looking out over the everything. Yeah, they see the smoke. Yeah, I thought this was a thing. Okay, so we explicitly have a shot back here, kind of seeing the smoke billowing into the air. like there. So that smoke that we're making for the fire to cook the food is also a signal smoke for the monsters to zone in on this area, and that's what attracts the Farland thing over to here. Yeah, cool. Okay, I didn't put that together before. That's yeah, that shot there is clearly ominous in that way. Now we're into the bulk of the rest of the episode, which is this conversation between Kabaru, Shuro, and Laios. Now, Kabaru's the one to watch here. He's the one that's silently deducing everything and trying to find out about Laios in the process, right? Because remember, his whole thing is like, okay, well, if this guy has some kind of predestined thing almost, or is trying to be the king of the dungeon, we can't allow that to happen. It'll just be another Lord of the Island type situation. He's easily manipulatable. He can be pushed in various directions. We need a strong leader with strong, honorable ethics like myself, as opposed to somebody who can be pushed around a little bit like Laios. So Laios just out and spills all the beans to Shuro. This like kind of confuses the fuck out of him, which is a funny shot there. I like that. That's just like a good image. You could probably screenshot that. But more importantly here, after explaining the whole story and that the lunatic magician was the one that stole Farland away again, right? Well, legend says that if you meet the lunatic magician, you're not making it out alive. So, how could you know that that was the lunatic magician? One, good question. Ask the audience, don't even know. I don't think they've referred to themselves as the lunatic magician. Or he hasn't referred to himself, I should get used to saying. And Laios is kind of taken aback. Like, he just kind of sounded and acted like the mad magician. What do you want? Okay, so then how did you manage to escape if they seemed that powerful, right? It's like, well, yeah, that's thanks to Marcel, but we can't tell him the magic that we use to help with that because that's black magic. We need to avoid saying that thing, you know? And yeah, technically not lying here. And I guess I should bring up the concept of deception overall here. Because you're still holding cards close to your chest, even up to the end of episode 17, right? But even now, you're not telling Laios the context in which you're asking these questions, the times these parties have met in the past, you know? You're not revealing all your cards. You're deceiving him somewhat, you know? And I think some of that deception bleeds into your own view of yourself in a way as well. Like, you think of yourself as honorable, but I think you're secretly kind of guilty about some certain things as well. Not all's right in Kabaru's, like, self, I think. He's all mixed up a little bit. He deceives, he's not straightforward, that kind of thing. He's manipulator vibes a little bit, poser vibes. I've always said it, you know? As opposed to Laios, who almost very stupidly all the time just tells the truth. He's a truth-telling guy. Again, he would tell a small mistruth for a joke and that kind of thing, but like most of the time he doesn't understand the social cues, so he just out and says certain things that he shouldn't say, not nearly as calculating. And again, we're specifically building contrast between these two for what I'm guessing is some bigger story event as we continue. So, very well done. I think they're doing that in a great way. What is better in this situation? Somebody who has their head screwed on, but isn't quite as straightforward and honest as everybody else, tries to do certain things to make certain things happen the way they want it to do as a leader, or somebody who's brutally, straightforwardly honest and altogether not all that smart. It's an interesting conversation because there is pros and cons. Yeah, this here is a great example of it, right? Because Shuro's next question is, hey, why were you eating that piece of drywall? And he's like, nah, that was dungeon cleaners. We've actually been eating dungeon creatures all the way down here. You know, that's been our kind of fuel source as we've continued. And that, like, terrifies Shuro and freaks out Kabaru. Like, he just says things that he shouldn't say aloud to everybody because he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. And I just think this dynamic between these three is so interesting. I also love Kabaru here. I don't think in particular he actually thinks it's hilarious that he's eating dungeon creatures and, like, you know, really wants to get involved in dungeon food. Because we see at the very end he's disgusted with the thing they make, right, from the harpies at the very end of episode 17. So he's not actually into dungeon food. He's feigning that he is so he can gain more information, right? Like, in particular, even pushing, you know, Laios to talk about the red dragon. The one that ate your sister, you ate that dragon as well? Continually to freak, like, Shuro out. If I was to say a metaphor for these two, you're playing, like, 6D chess, you're playing checkers with, like, half the pieces missing. You know? He's running rings around you right now. I do like how you can see like Shuro's patience wearing thin with all these various things he's just talking about. So we ate this, which is an affront to human decency. We ate this, we ate this. We befriended orcs. You can even hear Kabaru there. He's like, has he forgotten our duty to slay orcs as like honorable tall men knights? Because there's that whole orc racism thing we talked about, of course. So again, they've kind of woven that into the fabric of society in a way, right? Where it's like, yeah, you have to kill orcs. That's just what you do. So again, you don't see things the way everybody else does. You just saw some friends. You didn't see an immediate enemy like everyone else around you. You were a little bit more like senshi and just kind of talked it out. But again, this isn't information you should be saying to everybody else. You shouldn't be. And they're just running rings around you right now. I still don't understand the pretense to this conversation. Why is asking about where Farland's whereabouts are now and taking them to a lower level mean that Laios needs to talk about the black magic ritual and that kind of thing? I guess because it ties Farland to the Mad Magician, so that's how she's being taken, so to say. There's also a little scene here where you kind of look back once because, again, you overhear the conversation no matter what. So I think maybe you planted a bug or something, or you just have like ninja hearing. Like you're still listening in no matter what. So we quickly jump out of that, intimate moment between Shuro and Laios and jump over to Maizuru and Senshi, talking about, I guess, the value of food is more than just the nutrition, right? It's the love you put into it. We have this little anecdote about young Shuro. He was often sick as a child and, didn't eat as much, but he always ate like everything that I made for him, right? He always chowed it down, you know, like nothing else, I guess. He was such a well-behaved child. This here was the first time he's ever made a selfish request, right? There's somebody I want to save. However, the confusion for you is that, hey, well, he wants to save somebody, a northern girl, because he likes her. And then I think the vibes are that Maizuru likes him as well, but also she knew him from this age, so bad touch, but also like, I don't know, we're playing it for jokes, so who cares? And again, it's a bit cliche, but Senshi definitely goes for it here. There's the reason why he craves your cooking. It's because of the love you put into it. Romantic love or motherly love, whatever one you want to go with there. But hey, it's the reason why your meals taste better than just normal pre-preserved kind of field ration stuff. There's a very quick joke with paintings here, kind of contrasting, I guess, what would be the child of Farlan and Shuro, right? Falero, by contrasting like a Renaissance type painting with a traditional Japanese style. I don't know, that joke kind of went over my head, but yeah, I don't know, the food's ready. It's an Eastern meal, everybody, my favorite. And then, yeah, everything erupts from here. They try to take the meal over to Shuro, and he's already attacking Laios. And again, you were listening the entire time. Now you can spill the beans to everybody else. Hey, it's black magic, everybody. They did black magic to revive Farlan. And now finally we get a sense of what kind of taboo this is. We get a look at how the community reacts to this kind of magic. Very, very poorly. You did a massive ethical crime in this world. It's the only thing that can kind of explain the vibes that are going on right now. Everyone is shocked to hear that they would touch this kind of stuff. And again, puts even more weight on Marcel's decision back in the day to actually go through with it. And the party's decision as well. Like, as much as I joke about it, you're not stupid. You understand the social faux pas that is black magic, but you still gave Marcel the okay to use it because you needed to save your sister, right? And of course, you're contrasting Laios here with two very honorable characters in Shuro and Kabaru. So of course they're going to immediately be like, oh yeah, he's like a criminal, right? Like, what do they say here? They're locked up in the dark until they die, and even their corpses never return. That's what happens to you. Prison for life. And now he tests Shuro's gangster. Shuro's like, the elves of the West, if they ever learn about what happened here, and what happened with Farlan, right, then they will fucking murder everybody. They don't care. That's a taboo, you know? And then Laios is like, yeah, if the word gets out of this dungeon, I know in particular you're never going to tell them anything, because why else would you have come all the way here? You don't want to rat Farlan out, you know what they'll do to her. So, you kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Your kind of lawful, good, honorable type guy, abides by the law, and so to speak, and this love that you have for Farlan. They're in conflict now, and that conflict is represented by this sword. Now, I'll probably bring this up again when it's explored a little bit more, but the Elves of the West, right? Where's Marsil from? Is it just the dwarves in the east and the elves in the west? So is she from the west? And then there'd be northern humans and then southern. Wait, no, you guys are eastern. So where are the dwarves from? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Maybe they're from underground. Either way, is Marsil from the elves of the west? Then, okay, if they're that much against black magic, then why does Marsil know how to use it? Are the elves of the west only against black magic in so much as they want to monopolize it? Much like the dungeon itself, right? People want various claims on the dungeon, right? Only to prevent other certain people from having the dungeon, if that makes any sense, right? Like, the Lord of the Island talked about this. The magic that's holding it all together, that's the real gold of the dungeon, you know? And this immortality stuff. And again, you contrast the elves, who already have a really long lifespan. If you were to give that long lifespan to humans, right? If they were to find that out through investigating the dungeon, that's bad. Therefore, the elves keep wanting to come in on this territory. But is that only predicated on they're the ones that have long life already and want to monopolize that for themselves, much like the black magic? It's interesting. I love Kabaru here as well. Ooh, black magic. That's much worse than I thought. He already had some ideas about what Laios was hiding, but this kind of surpassed all of them. And then yeah, that's kind of our lead into the next episode with the biggest what the fuck moment of them all. Hey, there's Farlan. She notices the smokestack over there. And the music here in particular is like really killer. I love the choir vocal here as we kind of more and more is revealed about this new version of Farlan. Along with like, you know in Dark Souls, you know when you go to Ash Lake, it's got that kind of like really like, oh, there was that kind of sound effect when we started talking about black magic as well, and it really kind of fit the vibe. I think the soundtrack's really killer this episode. Anyway, we get to see Farlan here a little bit more. One, she's got beast eyes, so much of the characterization of Farlan, or character design of her up to now, has been based around her eyes, and when we show her eyes in that specific color. Now, we have augmented them somewhat. She has changed, she has become beast, that is gotten across first and foremost through the character design. I think that's really awesome. Again, Lord Delgal, we're after Delgal Summer, of course. And then, yeah, we get to see her monstrosity creation. She gets a big old chicken butt. Now, again, I thought that this here was a tease for like 5 episodes from now, not next episode. So yeah, I mean, we will continue with the next episode now, of course. We have Kabaru here, continuing to play like 7D chess. He knows Shuro. He knows that he's absolutely smitten over Farlan, right? He's fallen for her, haha, so to speak. Puns aside, terrible puns aside, he's pressing that right now. He's like, well, black magic's terrible. Nothing, is worth letting her, be revived that way. It would have been better off letting her stay dead, and then that causes Shuro to lash out, right? Because, okay, he doesn't want Shuro to kill Laios, you know what I mean? So now we need to talk him down and also find out a little bit about Shuro in the process, right? Are you actually this in love with this girl that you're willing to commit this taboo or not punish this taboo along with Laios? Or are you just going to kill him? And he bet well here, right? He's like, okay, I think this guy's that into that girl. And he was right. Again, continually just watching from the sidelines, learning so much here. And yeah, as it turns out, Shuro's anger instead was predicated on a lot of other earlier BS rather than just the taboo that we're talking about now. All this past interactions and that kind of thing, right? Along with the explanation that he just had with him, right? How is he such a chuckle fuck about all these different things that are so out of the ordinary, So that there's what's frustrating Shuro more than anything else, right? More Laios's demeanor during it all, instead of, he's not particularly apologetic for all these taboos he's committing. Either way, Chilchuck's here and he brings the plot in. We're being attacked by a group of monsters. I love this reaction as well. What did you do? I told him everything. Everything? Oh my god. If VLC wants to behave, there we go. I love that face. That's very funny. Now, this is an interesting setup for later because we recontextualize these conversations and these interactions between Shuro and Laios. From Laios' perspective, he's like, I have a lot of respect for Shuro. He's a good fighter. He's helped me countless times. He's also told me tales of foreign lands and, you know, engaged with me on that level. And in this variation, he looks, you know, extremely respectful. It looks like a, you know, conversation between men, very, you know, stoic and that kind of thing. Very Shuro vibes. And again, Laios is like, oh yeah, I'm equally as stoic and awesome and that kind of thing, right? Again, we know Laios. That's not his vibe. And again, maybe I'll just find it now. Yeah, this is what it actually looked like for for Shuro. He was trying to riz up fucking Fallen, right? And this guy kept running in and asking him about stupid shit. Like, this is literally the same scene as before, just framed differently through the art style. I really, really think that's cool. Like, on one level, Laios is seeing it as this, like, really cool thing, and then Shuro sees it as Laios dragging him down to his level, you know? And yeah, thinking they're best friends in the process. It's kind of sad if you think about it. Like, he just doesn't know. You know? Yeah, and sure is normally like really chill and cold-headed. For him to blow up like that, it must have mean I really messed up. Yeah, he reads into it a little bit here. I like that. But then yeah, hey, it's harpy time. Hello harpies. There they are. Again, I talked about it during the reaction as well. I don't think this was the kind of show to just like show tits. Not that I think like anybody's like really turned on from any of this. It's more just feels very nature documentary in its framing, which is interesting for a show with nudity, you could say. It just, yeah, it wasn't what I expected, right? Also, add it to the list of creatures that are kind of humanoid to the point where I wouldn't want to eat them at all. But yeah, I just think, I think there is an interesting conversation in how various shows depict you know, ecchi type stuff, right? You wouldn't even call this ecchi. It's not even approaching that. But despite showing the same body part, shows like, I don't know, what's like a ecchi, High School DxD, display their characters so very differently. I think there's something in that, and it's probably room for an essay on the topic, I would say. Shuro's crew jumps up there and starts fighting the Harpies. Chilchuk explains to Marcel that Laios told Shuro everything, and now she realizes, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to explain this to him as well, because I'm the one that actually executed the taboo, of course. But yeah, it looks like the ninjas are just handling things fine. They're going pretty well up to this point. They get to talking about Kabaru, and Marcel's actually one of the people that recognize him, right? He's the guy whose party got wiped out by the treasure bugs, right? I guess because she was the one that was close by actually doing the little spell, the little hair spell. So now they're wondering what their motivation is. Why are they here? Why are they here now? Why were they with Shuro? Like, they're kind of figuring things out here as well. So now we have to clear that up as well, but also there's this stuff about the taboo bubbling away, so we can't be completely honest with everybody. Yeah, it's a cool vibe. In particular here, they start talking about evidence of the use of black magic, right? Well, we cleared up the magic circle, and the dragon was gone by the cleaners, so the only evidence here would be the staff. Well, we needed to confiscate the staff, right? It's like, no, I like my staff. As it turns out, an even greater piece of evidence is going to appear over the horizon very soon. How are we going to explain away our use of black magic when they see the fallen abomination thing that's about to show up? Yeah, and this is when shit starts hitting the fan. Now, I didn't remember fully until we started killing way too many characters that we could just revive people. So, like, I was being kind of dumb. I was like, oh shit, this is like actually character death. Not really. But it still adds, you know, I sound like a broken record. You see blood, you up the stakes every single time with this show. So, we've even upped that once again. We see somebody dead. Something fucked must be happening, right? And as it turns out, hey, look at that. There it is. What is that thing? Oh, look, it's fallen. There she is. Can we get a nice wide so we can see the character design, please? There we go. Hello, nice wide. This is a really cool shot. Would have probably made for a really good manga panel as well. So let's talk about character design. One, there is a certain subset of the, I guess you could call online fandom that would find this really appealing. Unfortunately, I'm not part of that. Either of these demographics, actually. I know people are really into scales as well. Not me, not my thing. So again, good luck with that. You guys can be compartmentalized over there. The other part would be we're integrating various aspects here. So one, we're taking in a lot of the dragon stuff. So she was revived using dragon flesh. We even brought those kind of dragon hams back in. So we're using that dragon goo. And that's why the dragon corpse is gone as well, right? We're using all that energy here to make her into what she is now. It also speaks to something. We talk about the red dragon later on in a little bit more detail. There may be something specific to the red dragon and its soul that's taking place here as well. There's also something in, I guess, the initial premise of the show, right? Farland being eaten and then, you know, like that being the spark for everything, and dungeon food as a concept, and kind of the food chain and that kind of thing being like these first themes of the show that are still coming through now. I think that's really cool. Again, these themes of combination, symbiosis, ecosystem, harmony, all coming through in this character design here as well in a cool way. I just don't know where the chicken stuff's from. I don't know. Why is she a chicken? I don't know. Maybe they're just like throwing some other monster shit because the Mad Magician was bored. I don't know. And Lyos's reaction there is fantastic. He's just like, "Oh, she's so cool," but you know that's not really the vibe. Like you could almost call Lyos's initial reaction there kind of callous. He doesn't care for the person. He's more interested in the monster design. It's almost like he doesn't see the person in there immediately. Marcel instead sees the person and yells out to them to try to save them, right? Yells out to Farland, "It's me, be yourself," that kind of thing, you know? And then again, from here, shit starts hitting the fan. Particularly like Tade here, right? Who's like, you need to restrain her, but also don't hurt her because it's Farland. It's like, how the fuck am I supposed to do that? Again, certain subset of the audience really into that kind of thing. Anyway, now it's just kind of action for a bit. I don't know how much I'll have to say. It is well animated, of course, triggers doing their thing. But again, as most anime fights, and again, if you have taste, like me, then you should understand this to be the fact. It's not based on how well it's animated or anything. It's not based on spectacle. It's based on the character motivations behind it and how cool they are. Here we have, again, I've explained it like an explosion. Everybody's come in and then it explodes outwards. It's all these different motivations coming into this as well that makes it so exciting for me. Like each individual character here and what they want to happen and their past and what they prioritize is coming to the fore in a really cool way. Like up to and including Senshi here even, right? He's just kind of shell-shocked and he's holding onto the food the entire time, just kind of saving it instead of anything else. Just stuff like that really separates this show. Now we have, I believe I called it Undine in the past, but that's maybe like the Japanese interpretation. Maybe Undine is a little bit better. That's the one I've heard in the past. Turns out that little like gnome guy, I think he was a gnome, the kind of mage for Kaburu's party, he gets it out of his like water bottle. He like sets it free and sicks it on Farland. We know how dangerous this thing is, of course, because we've seen it firsthand. Now this is the tragedy of it all, right? Because on one level, hey, you're like killing this person, that's pretty bad, and they like drop dead here, right? But then I think you like curiosity here comes through a little bit. That's Farland. You know what I mean? Farland's still in there, and I think they're getting that across to the audience in a really cool way as well. Like this little bit of curiosity at what this thing even is, and just kind of looking at it for a bit. And again, Marcel's great here. Remember, she was the one that firsthand saw how dangerous the Undine is, right? And now it's shooting Farland, the love of her life, supposedly, right? Begging for them to call it off. Well, no, we're not going to do that. You don't care how many people die as long as you can save one person. Now, is that befitting of a leader? And something shown here that Kaburu in particular does not agree with. Again, I love the exploration of ethics here. This thing here isn't her, it's now a monster, right? And then we specifically focus on Lyos here, right? And I think we're a little bit on the nose here, for mine, right? Like for Lyos here, I think this look says it all. You don't need the stuff that follows it here, which is like all the flashbacks about what he said about monsters in the past. Because again, we know what Lyos has said. He's been like, hey, you know, a monster is a monster, you can't trust it. Think about the stuff with the Kelpie, with Senshi, of course, right? Think about the stuff with Kensuke moving at all the wrong moments and that kind of thing, getting him in danger. You cannot trust a monster. If a monster is actually a monster, then you can't, like, trust it. It will eventually turn on you, you know? It doesn't... This difference between monsters and humans, as humans can kind of maintain and establish these emotional kind of relationships with each other, where monsters can't do that. They only see the world in black and white. They only see the world as survival, you know what I mean? I'm struggling to think about how to put it into words, but You know how humans can look at things beyond their just like value and think about things on a higher level than just like a creature can, right? Like they have that capacity for thought, you know? Where when we try to ascribe those kind of feelings to monsters is when we run into trouble and when they can betray us and that kind of thing because they don't have honor the same way us humans have honor, you know. But in that way, is these kind of systems, is this understanding of honor in itself also another trap? The same way that these biological responses for these monsters are a trap. You know what I mean? Like, at what point are we better than the beasts here? At what point are we killing? At what point is our killings justified and theirs not? And what's the basis for that? And what makes that okay? And what is even the fabric of society within that context? That's a fascinating conversation and definitely where we're going overall with the series, you know, and using Farland as a device to explore that. Again, not where I thought the show was going when we started. This kind of stuff is fascinating and almost like a talk to humanity as a concept and what it means, you know, what it means to evolve and beyond that. And yeah, there's lots of stuff you could talk about for sure. Either way, now we have Rin using fucking Pikachu Lightning Bolt on it, and now, you know, this is when it all comes to the fore, right? Because Laios still feels bad here about this happening to our good friend here, Farland. Like, yeah, if what I preach here is true, then this is, you know, unequivocally a good thing that this is happening, right? And yeah, at this point is going to live up to it, is actually going to slay her like the monster she is. But gets this look here. It's still Farland deep in there and I can't do it, you know? But, much like the Kelpie, is it just doing this in so much as it keeps itself alive? Is Farland actually in there? Or is this just another trick in its book to eventually kill you? You know what I mean? It's all these interesting questions being thrown around. This look here would have you believe that this was just a trick. But then again, the hand here, we're contrasting again Laios against Kaburu. And Kaburu here is so interesting, and we talk about this later as well. So I picked this up immediately as well. He even says it aloud. Lungs, kidneys, and the heart. If you stab a human in the 3 of these spots, they're not going to live. That's how you quickly and efficiently kill somebody. Now, I mentioned in episode 14, it seems like this isn't Kaburu's first rodeo. He's killed before, and he will again. That's just his kind of vibe. This confirms that. He knows what he's doing when it comes to killing a human. But au contraire, this isn't a human, this is a monster. And you didn't consider that, you know? And yeah, this didn't do shit. She's still like doing fine, you know? Laios quickly jumps in and saves Kaburu by kind of stabbing Farland's foot. One of her dragon feet, of course. She shouldn't be dragging her feet. Pick those feet up. And yeah, we're kind of on a level here, right? Laios is like, I hesitated, sorry about that. But we can't kill it now because if we kill it, the Mad Magician will show up and that spells trouble. However, I don't know, it doesn't really last very long because then Kaburu fucking dies anyway, so, you know. And then Farland's about to fucking strip and then ult, so look forward to that. I don't know, yeah, she uses like, what's the D&D spell? I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah, she uses like Spike Growth. That's what she uses here. Like a souped up version of it. A big old spell slot. But here's the most interesting turn of it all, right? So she did ult. It kind of culminated in her screaming as well. And a bit of that humanity came through in the scream as well that I really liked. Then we see her hands, or head in her hands, I should say. Kind of looking like that. Looks up briefly and then runs away. Fucking legs it up the wall. Almost in a desperate way to get away from here as fast as possible. Maybe the real Farland is still in there after all. And yeah, this guy's in like a fucking Kinder Egg or something. I don't know what's going on there. But he's now going to revive everybody. We've essentially stopped the action for now, about halfway through the episode. That scene's amazing. I love everything that goes on there and how fast it is. Again, it's all predicated on episodes and episodes of setup. And this is how you execute on that kind of stuff, right? Give each and every character something to do and communicating information to each other through it. And then at the core of it, contrast to characters that seem very, very important going forward. That being Laios and Kaburu. And again, the fight's just good to boot. Like, the fight being good itself is a bonus. It's not what we come here for. It's the character stuff. Either way, now we go back and start resurrecting people, starting with, of course, the healers themselves. If you heal the healers, then healing can proliferate even more, of course. Marcel tries to help with the resurrections as well, but no, we're not letting her do anything. I'm not letting you use any more black magic. Well, it wouldn't be a black magic resurrection, but of course you have your trepidation, holding onto that staff, of course, which is that last remnant of the black magic being used. Besides Farlan herself, of course. Now, everybody here has the wrong idea. They're blaming the black magic itself for Farlan's appearance there. You messed with stuff you shouldn't have, and this is the result. Well, kind of. It's more so that, hey, what we did binded Farlan to the Mad Magician, and then the Mad Magician changed her. It still isn't good. We didn't help. We probably hindered, but we're not entirely responsible for her being that now. So Shiro, back off a little bit. Shiro goes full on cop here, and he says he's going to hand us in to the Elves of the West, and then kind of slay Farlan, right? I'm not going to let her soul be tied here to the dungeon. I'm going to let her free. Laios tries to intervene. Shiro, there must be another way. And now we see the stoic Shiro as well completely explode. Like, you always think there's another way. You always think that you're better than these taboos and everything else. You always think you're better than society as a whole. You gotta stop thinking like that, man. And again, it gets really awkward for everybody, right? Like, there's this huge argument erupting here between these two now. And again, now Laios' plan is to go through and execute the magician. If you kill the magician themselves, then maybe that'll make everything right. And again, you're not even thinking about the connotations that come with that, with the you will now control the dungeon part. No, you're just in it to save your sister, of course. And of course, this causes Shiro to get even more I guess irate. You're gonna use black magic to solve black magic? That sounds fucking terrible. Start taking things seriously. You implied I wasn't taking things seriously. Now I slap you. And he didn't even think about it. Then he goes to apologize, and then it's a full-on fist fight. And then basically he starts talking some shit. He's like, I know that you're like cool and stuff, but I've been eating dungeon food, so I have fucking superpowers. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. But less I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, and more like I'm clearly taking this more serious than you. Don't question how seriously I'm taking this. We saw in episodes like 11 and 12, he is so serious about saving his sister. So serious. So don't disregard what we're doing here, please. And you're not taking it seriously. You're not even eating. You gotta care for yourself first, you know? Because otherwise, how are you gonna do anything? You can't self-sacrifice your way forever. You're just gonna fucking die. And then, yeah, I love the soundtrack here. It's like full-on protagonist vibes. He's like saying he's peace. Yeah, you can believe what you want to believe, but we're going to accomplish our goals, you know? And then he says, sure, you go back to the surface, right? Eat, bathe, and rest, and then reload and come back. And then, of course, this beratement from Laios is enough to get Shiro to, like, uppercut him and then start explaining his side of the story, right? So, Laios, I fucking hate you, bro. I hate your fucking guts, because you were thoughtless, dense, you always had the worst timing, and it was even worse because I knew you meant no harm. You weren't doing it to protect your sister or anything. You just thought I was cool and wanted to talk, right? He's like the brother-in-law that's fucking annoying as fuck. And again, they're essentially just fighting over what they're going to do next. They're like, I'll take Marcel. No, I'll take Marcel, because I'll take Marcel. You want to hand her to the cops. You want to keep her because she's important with this whole mad magician stuff. And again, here's what I was talking about before. I was dropping hints that most people would have picked up on. Well, Laios isn't most people, you know? You should have made more of an effort to notice. I don't think he can. You know what I mean? He's doing his best, is my point. But I understand why Shiro's mad, obviously. It's a good argument. I understand both sides. But again, at the base of it, right, like, you're one of my only friends as well. I think a lot of the people have kind of disregarded Laios in the past. You can kind of read into this quite a bit. Maybe that's why he has such a strong connection with his family as well. Like, not a lot of mates. Not a lot of friends, not a lot of people that accept him for who he is as well. And this is one of those fights that turn into like a glaze session for the other person as well, and they realize how much they love each other. They might as well just start kissing now. But again, it becomes increasingly pathetic for everybody else. But then it just turned into like a glaze session for both of them on each other, and these guys are kind of over it. And then from there, we kind of leave the guys off arguing, and we go into a little bit of a montage of healing everybody. Even Marcel is allowed to help finally, which is nice. Also, shoutouts to Tade, my favorite character that's only had like 4 lines thus far. I like her a lot still. I also like how we have our 2 half-foots, hiding under the pot here. I think that's a cool spot. I think that's fun. Even a small moment here between Kaboru and Rin. Nice, I like that. Equally another nice moment here between what's your name again? Something Bell. Ink Bell, Tink Bell, Twink Bell. I don't think it's Twink Bell, that's something else. And Dogman. I like that. This is a cool relationship as well. I like that. In the end, Dungeon Food reigns victorious, of course, and Laios wins the fight for what it's worth, and now we're going to feed Shuro the meal, finally, that was prepared from Maizuru, like ages ago, that kind of Senshi has been holding on to the entire fight. Just a really fun detail as well, that he prioritizes the food like that. After losing the fight, it seems like Shuro somewhat relents what he was going to do, like arrest Marcel and all that kind of stuff, right? And we're just going to return to the surface. Like, Laios won the fist fight, therefore I'm going to follow what he says. Like, Laios wants me to rest up, eat, bathe, all those other kind of things, right? All the things that everyone's been begging him to do up to this point, but he's been too devoted on his task, he needs to go and prioritize and then come back. There's also the interesting case of Asebi. I wonder if we'll come back to this at all. Apparently she's just run off, but she should be back. She is like a ninja after all. And these guys here even get a genuine thank you from our boy Shuro, which they love. Like, look at it all, they're just all freaking out. It's like he's got his own personal little harem. He says he's returning to his homeland, never to be seen again as well. I always thought he was just going to come back. I must have forgotten about this. Okay, it's a really weird thing to introduce him and then just, like, not do anything with him. I don't know, maybe he complicates things too much. But I'm sad that I won't get to see Tade. Like, that's devastating to me. What do you mean? Either way, Shuro's still going to report what happened here to the Lord of the Island, which will then obviously get passed off to the elves, and then that's why we're seeing the elves in, you know, the openings and the endings and stuff. They're going to become involved. We're finally going to meet those characters that have been sailing over here, you know, on that boat from the first opening, you know. It is revealed here that, more than even confessed, Shuro proposed to Farlan, right? And I really, really love this image here as well. So it brings us back to almost the dungeon cleaners as well in the bug aspect. But more than anything else, it's contrast, right? It contrasts the Farlan from before that wouldn't hurt a fly, you know. Remember that one little kind of vignette scene before as well, where she really, really didn't want to hurt the person, like, that was undead. She didn't want to hurt him. She wanted to let him pass on peacefully. That's very much not who she is now, based on what has happened to her. But you still feel like that part of her is fighting through a little bit, right? Again, contrast. Wouldn't hurt a fly versus all the destruction she did during the episode. So I think the implication of the conversation between these two is that Shuro didn't explain any of these feelings he had for her, because he just went through and explained all of them, right? How much he loves her and that kind of thing. But then just kind of popped the question, and apparently from where he comes from, that's normal. You don't really talk about all this lovey-dovey stuff, you just come through and you propose. And of course he comes from, you know, a highfalutin family, you know, he's pretty important. People would just say yes, you know. But that's, again, probably not how it works wherever Farlan and Laos are from the north. So again, he never really got his answer from Farlan. She got eaten by the dragon, and now he's kind of searching for closure as well in his own way. Therefore, I'll pass your words off to Farlan when we save her. And this frustrates Shuro a little bit. He's like, oh, what do you mean when you find her? You still think you're going to win, right? But yeah, that's the part of you that I envy, that you still have that hope that you will find her alive and that you will save her. It's a really, really nice line, actually. It speaks to the benefits of naivete. So again, you don't pick up on the social cues very well, right? You don't pick up on the realities of situations. Like, everybody else here thinks that Farlan can't be saved and she must be killed, right? But you're still holding on to that hope that we can change her back. And again, I envy having that hope. That's what's being gotten across here. Again, very, very good in the dialogue department. It shows really good. And then immediately contrasting again with Kaboru, right? Where you know, you fought really well. Thanks for that attack. But it ended up being useless, you know? The one where he stabbed the heart and the kidneys and stuff. No, actually, in reality, right? what you did was give me information with your attack, right? So she isn't operating like a human right now, so that means either that she doesn't have vital organs there, or she has more somewhere else, of course. So she might have extra hearts or extra pairs of lungs or something weird like that, right? I also really, it's a subtle thing. I like how Laios still calls her, oh, that's my sister, not, the abomination or something else, He still considers her his sister all the way even now. And even now we see Kabaru gaining information. So his pupils are dilated. He's super interested. This is his thing, His knowledge is his weapon, is the line here, right? He says he'll defeat the lunatic magician. There are plenty more skilled than him, but none with his level of knowledge and motivation. This guy here might just be able to pull it off. But if he does pull it off, then my trepidations about episode 14 still hold true. Will he be manipulatable? What will he do with a city of dark magic and monsters and stuff? If you're super interested in the construction of monsters, then you're not going to get rid of them, like I want to happen, because that's what Kabaru said, right? There's no room for monsters in this world. I doubt he'll quietly seal the dungeon, and then we go off to do some dungeon food, and we demonstrate more so Kabaru's... What would you say? The limits he will go to maintain a good relationship with Laios at this point. Yeah, a little harpy egg omelette. Doesn't get the whole explanation on how to make it, but it's more important for Kabaru that he's like, oh, I have to actually eat this thing. And yeah, remember how you said last episode you were interested in monster cuisine? Now those those chickens are coming back to roost, so to say. And yeah, you're gonna have to eat the omelette, bud. Ooh, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? Hang on. Okay, monsters attacking his village maybe, fire, death, this image from before as well. Ignore VLC, it's having a moment. But yeah, that same image of these monsters pulling at the flesh. I wonder if that's a really important moment. Family member dying? Something? Wizards? Magic? Dark magic? Black magic? Is this anything? Or did they just pick some shit? No, it definitely does seem like... What was that at the very end? Yeah, what is this? What is this devilman? And then a devil took out the people that saved him. What is this? What is this backstory that's like skimmed past? Huh. I wonder if this will get blown out some more as we continue. Fascinating. But yeah, it seems like whatever happened there predicated his hatred of monsters now. So of course he doesn't want to eat the dungeon food, it sickens him, but he's still willing to earn his favor. He's gonna do it, right? And yeah, even after everything, everyone's still sitting down and having a meal. Again, what's that whole concept of dungeon meshi and sharing a food together, sharing some food together, and breaking bread, coming through here again. Almost like a blown out version of what happened with the orcs earlier in the series. And now we have that return magic, we have that portal again, ready to go, and everyone's going through it. And this here seems like a setup as well. So this is the final goodbye from Shuro to Laios as well. I doubt that you'll make it to the lunatic magician, but if you do, if you defeat them and then are somewhat sealed in the dungeon because of black magic, ring this bell. This one right here. It'll resonate with its twin far away. I'll send an escort to help you flee to the east. Okay. So maybe what will happen is whatever you do in the dungeon will eventually resolve in you being like criminals everywhere but the east, and then Shuro will use his influence to allow you guys safe passage, asylum in the east. That would be interesting. It would be interesting. We'll keep an eye on it. And that last word to him, don't die. And then we have a last word between Kabaru and Laios as well. Laios, I'm glad we got to chat. That was the highlight of this trip for me. I believe you're being genuine here as well. The pleasure is mine. You remember my name now, right? Of course. Good. Don't forget next time. Again, implying that these two have met before, and that Laios forgot the context. It'll be interesting to see what you're thinking, right? And what you're hiding, I guess. So yeah, we're just let off scot-free. I think Shuro's going to tell the authorities, like the Lord of the Island, and then that'll spread to the elves. But we're still down in the dungeon. We're still allowed to keep going off free, which is interesting. Like, I guess that's predicated on you winning the fist fight as well. Just interesting stuff. And Laios' last word there, it'll all work out somehow. Marcel's feeling a little bit guilty, and we go off into the unknown for the next episode. Maybe even to a new level next episode as well. We will see. Sorry about my bed, it's not made, but shut up. I can do what I want. That was really, really good and really popped on the rewatch even again. So, hooray. Well done. The show continues to be excellent, and I talked for way, way, way too long about it. Lots and lots of interesting things to consider as we continue. Really looking forward to the comments on this one and some discussion on Discord. I think, yeah, this one was a big one, and I didn't think it was going to be a big one when I started it. Really, really interesting. Anyway, can we expect stuff like that on the regular now? Because that was such a crazy scene, predicated on so much setup. Explosion, I've said it so many times. Got me really excited for the rest of the series, put it that way. Put it that way. And seeing Fallen again, maybe? She's still like scampering around somewhere. Interesting. We will see. Maybe she'll keep showing up at inopportune moments. But I'm going to say goodbye because I've been talking too long. Patreon, if you want to be 1 week ahead, of course. Discord, if you want to talk about the show with me, as well as the YouTube comments, comment below and let me know, of course. Like the video, subscribe. I'm getting out of here, but thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.